what they called it at that time was First Papers. And then I think they had I don't know how it really
How do you spell his last name? Rob Sachs.
C-A-K, I think.
Okay.
An S, probably. I still don't remember that too well. And they urged him to say, what would it hurt? So he listened to them. But in order to get those papers, it may be that way today too, you had to apply for them from another country. You couldn't do it. So he went, of course, to Cuba.
Oh, interesting.
And it was before, whatever his name is, the Castro. It was Batista.
Right, Batista, yeah.
And so he went there and he got those papers. When he came back, he brought me that pocketbook as a gift because I had done the typing. Now, it was really my job to do it, but when I think back at it now, why didn't somebody take an immigration lawyer to have him do it? I don't know.
Right.
I cannot answer that because now it seems strange to me. But I sat there and I typed it out and whatever I did, he came back with the papers.
And did that save him later on?
He was able to bring his whole family.
Really? Because he was a citizen.
That's the way I think about it. I don't know if there was another reason for it, but he certainly was considered a citizen.
Right. Wow, that's amazing.
And I'm almost sure he came by way of Siberia and Japan around that way. But I think that's the
Now, how does Zadie get into the picture? When did somebody introduced you, or?
Well, it was before my 18th birthday. It was in the end of June. I was having a graduation. Now, amongst all these young people that we knew that I knew from the Young Israel, one or two were graduating. So I had a very good friend, Marcia, and so we decided we were going to go up to the graduation.
What was her last name? Remember? Marcia.
Marcia Pearlstein. I'll tell you, there's a story about her too. Her brother, Moshe Pearlstein, you may have heard that name. He was one of the, what was the number, who were killed on the way to relieve the professors at the Hebrew University.
Oh, of course.
You know that group?
Yeah.
That was her only.
The Lamed Chet, right?
Was it 35? I don't remember what the number was. There was a Moshav, not a Moshav.
The Lamed Hay. You're right. It's the Lamed Hay.
There was some sort of a community named there for them.
Oh, I didn't know
There
that.
were 3 girls and he was the only son.
Wow.
And I can remember him sitting at the Shabbos table with his father learning Gemara in Hebrew because he also went to Etzchaim. So anyway, so she and I took the subway and we went to the graduation. And in the graduation, I don't know how that old. This was only one building then. That very old building with the.
Right. What's the old building at YU? The one.
Lamport.
Lamport. Yes. He remembers everything.
By the way, I have a wedding present from Mr. Lamport.
Oh, really?
Oh, I should do. I'll show it to you someday. It's a vase. It's a very, very nice vase. That was our wedding present. Because later on, Zadie taught his grandchildren. They lived out in Great Neck, and there was not much, I don't know what their religiosity was, so I can't say, but he used to go out there 3 times a week to teach the grandchildren.
Interesting.
So that was the story.
So you and Marcia went to graduation?
Yeah, and there was at the side lobby in, I think it was 187. It's like a side lobby, and you came down the steps from the dormitory, and it led into this lobby. And we were a whole group of young people standing in that lobby talking afterwards, socializing.
Mhm.
And he came down the steps and he knew some of these people. He knew Yacht Goldman, if you know that name,
Mhm.
whose brother Eliezer Goldman was the Zadie's father, so he
Mhm.
knew them. Occasionally he had been to Borough Park to them for Shabbos.
Mhm.
So yeah, just very casually introduced us all around. That's all, and then he left. However, I must have made an impression, because all he knew about me at that time was that I lived in Borough Park, and I had a brother in the yeshiva. And he went looking for me. You know, in those years you didn't telephone so much, you wrote letters.
Mhm.
He went to all of I'm trying to think how he used to put it. He had been a big shot, you know, in the college. He had been, well, I don't even know what the positions were, but he had all these things available to him. So he went through all the names of the Collins in Borough Park,
Mhm.
and found my brother's name,
Mhm.
found my address, and he wrote me a letter.
What did it say?
It was a very, very beautiful letter from somebody that I had no recollection of.
Do you still have it?
Yes.
Yes.
But what I do have also, that night, my friend Marcia was in camp. She could afford to go to camp, we couldn't,
Right.
but she was in camp. And I sat down and I wrote her a letter. And that letter I have too.
Mhm.
She gave
About the boy who had just written you a letter.
the date that I had that night.
So after you got the letter from Zadie, he
Yeah,
wanted to go out with you.
yeah.
So that.
So I answered him,
Mhm.
and I sent him the phone number. And you know the story about the telephone in the drugstore on the corner, don't you?
No, I
Oh
forgot.
my gosh. We didn't have any telephones,
Right.
but we lived right across the street from the corner drugstore. You made the call there. There's all kids hanging around there. They'd come and ring my bell and call me to the phone. I thought you knew. Some of the kids know that story.
I don't think Ariane did.
So, yeah.
So now you wrote
So
a
that
letter
was-
back to Zadie and you had to send it in the mail? So you sent that letter back to Zadie in the mail?
Yeah, of
So
course.
then it took like another week, 2 weeks?
As long as it took. I don't remember. No, you got mail the next day.
Oh.
We used to get mail
Oh.
twice a day in those
Oh,
years.
see,
Oh,
that was
I
one
can
thing that was
tell you
better
that-
in those days.
I can tell you because I used to wait for the mail.
Right.
I had a big pile of mail like this afterwards, you know, for 3 years.
Mhm.
And, yeah,
So he called.
So he called, and we made a date, and the date was the weekend of July 4th.
Mhm.
Now, my aunt and uncle lived in Haverstraw, New York. My uncle was a rabbi there.
So you were already living, your mother?
No, in the interim, we had moved in with Aunt Mary and
Okay.
and Uncle Michael, and we were living there already. You know, that was that
Right.
time in between. So, we were living, and I had been there in Haverstraw with my aunt for the weekend, and with Naomi
Mhm.
and Shauna's, and it was a holiday weekend. I was going to come back to keep this date, and she said to me, maybe you should call and cancel the date, and you have to go on the train and whatever. Well, I said no, and I came back, and we went out,
Mhm.
and we went to the New York World's Fair of 1939.
Wow.
Most of the people, when I say that to, don't even know that there was a fair at that time, but that was the first.
Mhm.
So now he came on a subway from YU to Borough Park. In those days, the last stop on the Independent was Church Avenue. So from Church Avenue to my house, he had to take a bus,
Mhm.
and he picked me up. We went back on the subway. That was the BMT. That you was close at home. And we spent a very, very nice evening. Then he came all the way back from Queensboro Park, and then he had to go back. I was telling it to one of the boys, I don't remember who, and he said, "Oh, he would never have done it." And well, sorry, history wouldn't have been written.
That's right. He must have really liked you to spend that much time on the train.
I guess he did.
And then after that date,
we continued, but he had to keep calling me on the phone.
Right, from the drugstore.
Yeah, but a lot of it was done by mail too. We had a lot of mail.
Do you remember talking about
the stamps? The stamps were only 2 cents. You could write a lot of mail. The phone call was a nickel.
Was Zadie talkative on the first dates?
He must have been. I don't know.
Do you remember talking about
You know what we did that night?
What?
After we saw some of the very nice exhibits that they had and all that, we sat on a bench and we sang Hebrew songs. And let's see, which ones were they? Oh, I used to sing them very well. Probably come to me in the middle of the night.
Right, you'll tell me next time. When
In
so
the middle of
that was
night.
the first date.
That was the first date. It was the first
So
date.
then you knew you had similar interests and.
Very much so.
Do you remember right away, like Zadie talk? I know Zadie was from the beginning, from the very beginning, a big Zionist, always thinking about.
Oh yes, for sure. Very.
Is that
much
something that you knew he talked about right away with you? About his.
Not as much, but it's enough to know that we had similar interests. But as the time went on, just yesterday I mentioned, we were talking here to Laura and Mike, that he was a big fan of Jabotinsky. Later on, when Jabotinsky came to this country, a good number of our days, he was speaking in Manhattan and, I forgot what it was called. Midtown Manhattan. And we would go to his, he was unbelievable.
I remember him telling me about that, about listening to Jabotinsky speeches.
Oh, yeah.
And then, of course, he died in New York.
We followed his own.
Oh, you were there.
Oh,
I just
yes,
was reading
it
about
was
that.
on the Lower East Side, and we were there. And then early on, he was buried, I think in the same cemetery as my parents, or maybe the one close by, I'm not sure, but even then we used to stop. Yeah.
Now, were you dating Zadie when your mother passed away?
No.
He didn't come
But
to
it
Shiva?
was very,
Why do I remember that? He didn't come to pay a Shiva.
he was in the house, yeah. He came, I must have been the second or third day, my grandmother died. My grandmother died after
your mother died.
A few months.
Your mom's mother
My mother
died. Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, it was when my grandmother died. And they were sitting Shiva in my Aunt Mary's house. We had not yet moved in with her. We still were in our own apartment, but it was just around the corner.
Right.
Yeah, so that's when he came that night, and we had no way of contacting him not to come. He was in yeshiva, the dorms were all closed, there were only a handful of boys because they were studying for smicha. You know, they didn't even have hot showers that summer there in the yeshiva. It was not very pleasant for him, but there was no way. So he came, and we just went for a walk on 13th Avenue, I remember it. Yeah.
Zadie used to describe to me, I always tell the kids about how he would save the banana. He had so little to eat in yeshiva because he didn't have funds, and he would save a banana. He told me that story once for Shabbos.
Tuna fish or something,
to make it
a roll and coffee or something.
Just to make it special, like for,
But then when he started coming to my house and they knew that it was the real thing, he got food. In fact, one of my uncles was a druggist in Washington Heights, but not up that high. He was in about 150th Street. And so my aunt used to go in and help him at night sometimes. And I but of course then we were really, they knew that it was, you know, a real
Right,
thing.
serious.
So I would come there, she would go out to, she helped her brother out, and so at night. So I would go and stay with the kids,
Mhm.
and he would walk down from yeshiva and visit with me, and she would leave him some nice sandwiches and stuff, and, you know, so.
So how long did you date?
3 years.
And why? Why in those days did you, like nowadays, you know, people date
Yeah,
shorter?
you know what I tell my friends whose grandchildren now are in 3 weeks. In those years, you had to make a living.
Mhm.
It was a very simple thing.
Right.
You couldn't get married no-how
Right.
unless,
Right.
and there was not even a question of a woman making a living.
Mhm.
There was no such thing.
Right. Right. So Sadie was finishing
and
smicha?
when I met him, he was just starting to learn the smicha.
Mm.
So,
Did you meet his father at any point while you were?
yes. They moved from Cleveland to Williamsburg in 1940,
Mhm.
I think. They lived in Williamsburg.
That was Sadie's father and his stepmother.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And Hannah
sisters,
and
right.
Ruthie and Subi.
Right.
And so by then he knew that. So no, I was with them for one Pesach before we were married.
Mhm.
And yeah, no, he knew.
And were his sisters excited to have when you came?
Yeah, they liked it. They liked it. In fact, when they were still in Cleveland, and he would go home for Yontif,
Mhm.
and I'd write him letters, so he
Mhm.
would be the one to take the letters, and I'm not so sure she didn't open them first, but she was a little bratty kid at the time. So, yeah.
And then, so what year did you get married? What year did you get married?
1942.
Okay, and where did you get married?
It was some hall down in the lower part of Williamsburg, not where anybody lives now,
Mhm.
Bushwick area, someplace, I
Mhm.
don't know, some hall. My aunt's brother was connected with it and so on, so
Mhm.
that's where we were.
And did your aunt and uncle walk you down the aisle?
Yeah.
Mhm. And at that point, you didn't have, your grandparents had both, your grandfather also had passed away
My
before that.
grandfather passed away before.
And where did you live with Zadie, your first apartment?
We went to live in Worcester.
Oh, you went straight to Worcester.
When he got a job,
Mhm.
that first Rosh Hashanah, took the job in Worcester. We got married, we got engaged, and we had a real engagement party, because that's what Sadie's father wanted,
Mhm.
so we had that.
Where was it? It's a tough
I don't
question.
even remember. Maybe in that same hall, I'm not
Mhm.
sure. But anyway, so we had that, and then, so it must have been January, February, I'm not sure about the dates, I'm not sure, but it was a real tenorium.
Mhm.
And then we were married on October.
Mhm.
But he had that job since Rosh Hashanah.
Mhm.
Well, there was a lot of mail going back and forth then, because surely nobody to use a telephone.
Right. And in Worcester, did you work?
No. Well, I was pregnant right away too,
Oh,
but they
right.
didn't.
Did you make any friends in Worcester when you got there? Was it lonely?
I still have somebody who calls me from there, a good friend,
Who's that?
Ruthie Cash now.
Mhm.
I have pictures of her with your mother when they were about, not with her son.
Mhm.
They were about maybe 4 or 5 years old. Pictures in the park. We used to
Mhm.
go to the park.
And how long were you in Worcester?
5 years.
So from 1940 till...
Until
42.
1946.
Now, in terms of, I'm always curious in terms of like American Jews and what they were, in terms of what you knew what was going on in Europe at that time. Like especially Zadie being a rabbi and kind of writing articles and everything. What did you...
First of all, if I could ever go through all his papers, there must be not that there must be, but I know